Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Qasas Hamra. In today's episode, we are sitting down with somebody who is the very definition of resilience. And I cannot wait for you guys to hear the story that she is going to be bringing you guys today. Hopefully you use it to empower you, draw awareness, and obviously lead the life that we all want to lead, which is a life of strength, a life of freedom, and a life where we are able to live freely as who we are without having to hide who we are as an Arab community. So my guest here today, and I'm just so honored to be sitting with her. Her name is Lana. So welcome, Lana. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Noura? I'm so honored to be here.
Well, thank you so much for accepting my invite and coming here. So let's start from the very beginning. Tell us who you are, and I guess we'll go from there.
So my name is Lana Mustafa. I'm a Palestinian-American.
Shout out to Palestinians.
Hey. I'm also a very proud mother of 3. So I have 3 kids, 17, 14, and 12. People are like, how do you keep up? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and you look so great.
Oh, thank you. So do you. You look beautiful. I'm also the executive director of Montclair Community Farms, which is a nonprofit organization based in Montclair that focuses on food access, and the founder of Roots of Resilience, which is a mutual aid organization supporting farmers in the West Bank.
All right, awesome. And I cannot wait to get into all that because there's so many fascinating things with the Montclair farm and obviously the Roots of Resilience. So take us back from the very beginning. Where were you born? Were you born in Palestine? Were you born in the States?
So I was born here, actually. I was born in North Bergen. My family lived in different parts of New Jersey, Philadelphia, and the West Bank. So I feel like I'm a mixture of like a little fallahi, some hood, and some New Jersey sass.
Well, we definitely in Jersey, we have like that North Jersey kind of flavor.
I definitely have like the New Jersey road rage and like.
I mean, I think we all suffer from that, right? New Jersey road rage, like get out of my way. We drive with a purpose in New Jersey.
110%. I have places to go. Let's go.
Truth is, we drive better than New Yorkers. I don't care what anyone says. New Yorkers, when they come here, that's like, what are you doing, dude? Come on. Like, take the right. Just take the right.
If you can drive in Jersey, you can drive. And we're stealing that one from New York.
Absolutely. All right. So then at one point you moved to Palestine. So tell us more about that experience. Like what was the deciding factor? Why did your parents move you back there? Was it just you? Was it your siblings?
Yeah. So for us specifically, my family, my parents had a very tumultuous relationship. So there was a lot of fleeing back and forth between New Jersey, Philadelphia, and Palestine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So back and forth pretty much all my life. But one thing that was really important to my family, especially my mom, was like to really like enrich us with culture and religion. Really wanted us to know the language and like understand the culture and really immerse us. So we lived in Palestine for probably a total of 5 years on and off. So back and forth for the summers, maybe like a shorter stay, like 3 or 4 months. And then we lived for a year and a half. And then the second Intifada started in early 2000. So I was there for all of that.
Oh, so you were there. So that's like almost pretty recent, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean,
not so recent, but like recent.
Well, I don't know. I was in 6th or 7th grade, so not that recent, but
2000 for me, I was graduating high school.
Listen.
SubhanAllah. But we have a similar story because my parents, when they brought us here, it was kind of the same thing. They weren't sure if they wanted to stay in the States. They knew like you better know the Syrian culture because there's no like you're not going to forget that. So my brother and I, we traveled back and forth quite a few times. And I think I did 1st grade here, 2nd grade in the States. No, 2nd grade in Syria, 3rd grade here, 4th grade in Syria, 5th grade here. So every year I'm like learning Arabic one year, learning English another year. And it was crazy.
I know all about it. I was in 5th grade going to like the girls' school in my village, Mukhmas, and did not know a lick of Arabic. And they put me from 5th grade, they put me in like 1st grade. So like I was like that one girl in the back of the line for a certain couple of weeks. And then I told my principal, like, can I at least line up with the 5th graders? Like, why do you have to humiliate me? And then I'll walk into like the 1st grade classroom.
I know for me when I was younger, I couldn't stand that my parents did this. I really could not stand it because I'm like, dude, I'm totally lost. Like, I don't know what language you want me to speak. Am I learning English? Am I learning Arabic?
I don't think they realize the implication, honestly. Like, right. I know my parents definitely didn't. And I also can honestly say, like, looking back at my life, like, I don't think that there was too much concern about, like, the gap in our education because for my family, at least, like, I was not going to college. I was going to get married no matter what.
So you didn't get that, like, you have to be an engineer, a lawyer, a teacher, a doctor?
Not at all.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I feel like you're the first Arab that, because we're always being pressured, like, these are the careers you have to pick. But also, while at the same time is, yes, you have to pick that, consider getting married. Like I know, I think we spoke about this a little bit in the first podcast with Hanoun, where there's constant pressure for Arab girls to get married.
Totally.
And I felt it at a very young age. And like I remember my mom at the age of 13, she forced me to get engaged to a 28-year-old. And I hated it. I didn't want it. I'm like, don't do this to me. But they were so fearful. And it was all out of fear because I don't think she really wanted me to get married, but the whole idea was you're living in the States and we don't want you to be felten, you can't be a feltene. And my aunt, subhanAllah, my two cousins got married. One was 16, one was 15. I was 13. So they were both engaged. And then they convinced my parents that was the thing for me to do, get her engaged. And yeah, and I remember I'm like, dude, they won't listen to me. Like my own mom will not listen to me that I don't want this, right? So we had a little engagement party at the house and everything. And then eventually I had to get my brother. I'm like, listen, we need to do everything we can to annoy the shit out of this guy, where he's the one who's going to be like, I don't want this marriage. And that's what eventually happened.
Yeah, no, I was a kid playing outside at 13. At this point, I'm like grateful that at least my parents thought about like graduate high school, then get married.
Right.
At least.
And subhanAllah, but luckily, yes. So I didn't end up we didn't go through with it, but this constant obsession of like getting married. And I think in ninth grade, well, how old are you? If you're 14, 15, somebody came to ask for my hand. And then I'm like, no. Then it's 16. Somebody comes to ask for my hand. I'm like, no, I'm not getting married. So the pressure was totally on. And then eventually, and alhamdulillah, as I got older, I mean, I fought it. I didn't want to get married. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to figure out my life. Like,
did you actually get to do college and then get married?
I did, absolutely. No, I kind of rebelled because I really
sometimes you have to.
Well, I had to rebel because I'm like, no one's listening to me, and I'm like, I need to do what I feel is right for me. And yes, education was very big with me. And I think it runs typically in my family. Like I have like my grand aunt, Huda, maybe she rests in peace, but this woman here is like somebody I definitely feel like my soul's connected to. I see both my grandmothers, my mom's grandma, my mom's mother, and my dad's mom. I've seen them both struggle too. Like my mom's mom was a hunchback. She didn't go to work. She worked in the house, but she worked so hard. She was a hunchback. Like she couldn't stand up straight.
Yeah. Because of all the labor. Like just because she didn't have like a career doesn't mean she wasn't working till her.
I mean, she was like old school. Like we would go to Syria, and I remember just doing laundry. It would be like in a large pot, and she would be on a little step stool doing it by hand. Something I'll never. I mean, it's not really funny, but I'm just like, I don't want this life. Like this is what's appealing about this. And this is no disrespect to any housewife out there. Obviously, like you do what you got to do at the end of the day, right? But for me, seeing my grandma live her life like this, and this is how eventually she passed away. Like she was just living in her house, cleaning and taking care of 11 kids.
Well, a lot of times the women that come before us inform our decisions, right? So like we see the generation of like our mothers and then our grandmothers, and then you have to like at one point or another, hopefully you have the self-awareness to ask yourself the question of like, do I actually want to live like this? Like, is this who I want to grow up to be? And if I follow this like rubric of what they tell me to do, obviously this is going to lead me to a road that looks like their lives. And I had to face that time and time again. For me, I wasn't pressured into getting married necessarily, but I knew the clock was ticking. And for us, there was like, everybody was doing their whole arranged marriage thing. Like you said, like you get asked for, you sit with the guy, maybe you have one conversation. If you're lucky, you have two or three, and then you need to know if you were going to marry him.
They're like, هو دي لعبك مثل اللعبة. I'm like, I don't want to be someone.
I don't want to be somebody flower. Like, no. Or the whole thing of like, get her married off young. So تتربى على إيديه. Like he'll raise her like how he wants. For me, I was more rebellious and I didn't want to do the arranged marriage thing. So I did I fell in love thing. So I met my ex. I was 15 years old. We were
15.
15.
You're just 2 years older.
I have a soon to be 15-year-old, and I think if she comes to tell me that I fell in love and I know who I'm gonna marry, I'll probably like wring her neck.
Yeah.
Call Daifasami all you want. She's not making decisions like that. But for us, it was, either wait for like the best suitor or figure your life out on your own. And so I chose the love route. We had like a whole entire love story. Our family has like background history.
Here, you met over there.
So we're from the same village.
Okay.
and we were all in Palestine in 2003. And, you know, one love letter led to another. And I was married off at 18 to him. So I had like the whole entire like love story, like one of the Arab girls that actually married her boyfriends. Like, you know what I mean? And from there, I actually moved here. So that was 2003 till 2006. I came back to the States and moved to Clifton with my ex and lived with his family for a few years, about a year and a half, maybe 2. And then we bought our house where I'm currently living, and I'm happily divorced.
Well, should I say congratulations?
Yes, absolutely. Congratulate me. Thank you.
What made you make that decision?
Um,
Like, I'm sure many women, obviously, they want to get divorced. And not to say we're encouraging divorce here, but if you know if you're in a toxic marriage or any relationship that you need to leave or figure some plan out.
Sure. Well, divorce is never an easy decision to make. I don't think anybody gets married for the sole purpose of actually going through the divorce.
Right.
But for me, I think it just came down to a matter of like realizing that I was actually in a very abusive relationship. And
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah, alhamdulillah. And it takes a matter of like realizing what something healthy looks like and what something toxic looks like. And unfortunately for me, there was a lot of justification as to why my relationship was toxic. Like everybody around me was normalizing it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I started really like educating myself, learning, understanding the effects of narcissistic abuse. And this was like years before I even filed.
You were
for
young.
divorce.
I mean, 15.
I probably started realizing like, oh, this dynamic is something's off about this dynamic. Probably like 4 years before I actually filed for divorce, and by then, I like I said, I was just like realizing like, hey, this is so like something is off. Like, is this really what marriage is supposed to be like? Like, it doesn't feel like a happy and loving home.
Now, when you began questioning, like, or just realizing that things aren't really the way you want them to be, did you go to your mom? Did you speak to her about it? Was she supportive?
So, you know how I mentioned about living in Palestine for like a lot of my formative years? So there was a certain type of, I wouldn't say, I would say a certain type of conditioning that I was under. For example, like one of the mottos, like one of the verse or sayings that I really, really adhere to was "Il biyut asrar." Like,
Yes.
your house is supposed to be like secrets, right? Yeah, you don't air out your dirty laundry. And I saw countless women do this. I saw countless women, you know, do like certain flare-ups, have issues, have their whole families get involved, and then never did I see justice being served to the women. So I was like, I don't want that kind of fadiha. So I would always try to figure things out, smooth things over with my in-laws, like, you know, just swallow my pride and really do whatever I can to kind of preserve not only like my marriage, but my family reputation. Like, I wanted to be that what بتعيش, like, you know, I wanted to prove to the people in my culture that like me as a that I'm thriving, that I'm a Palestinian-American, that I'm not like, you know, that I'm not this wild, crazy American. Like, I know how to kum fil wajib, you know, your duty as a woman, your duty as a kinna, as a daughter-in-law. Like, I had all of...
Essentially, a divorce wasn't about you going to be wild. It was really about you creating a life for yourself that's going to be healthy and peaceful.
And not only that, but for survival too. Like, you get to a point in your relationship where it's so toxic and so abusive where you start... I started flirting with the idea of like, what would life be if I ended it? Like, I was so unhappy and so unfulfilled, and I was trying to be this perfect person for everybody around me, except for myself. And that's a hard mirror to look at.
Absolutely. I mean, especially I think in our culture, it's always assumed that something is wrong from a woman's end when there's a divorce. What did she do or what did she not do? Right. And I think, that's something we really need to work on as a community, that how do we support these women? Because while I see to some extent, I get that idea. But if something is really toxic, we need to have that support system where we can say like, hey, this isn't normal.
And we don't. And maybe now we do. Maybe now because of like, you know, social media and like knowledge, and also, you know, destigmatizing the shame around DV, right? Like, I talked about it during my divorce. I started talking about self-help, mental health. I was a lifelong journaler. Like, I literally can pull out my journals from age 16, and even during my relationship with him as young as 16, 17, 18, I would look back at some of my entries and I'd be like, wow, like the abuse started then when we were dating, you know, the gaslighting.
Or the red flags.
Because I didn't know what a red flag was. I didn't know what abuse was. I thought it was normal. And I would go to like the people in my family, right? Like, for instances of like, suspicion of cheating, for example. You know what I mean? You'd be like, I think my husband's cheating on you. It's like, well, you're doing something wrong if he's outside looking for, what are you not doing? Like, do this, do that. You got to win him over. Like that.
Oh, like play the game to get it.
Play the game.
Can I just have a partner who's my companion, who is a friend, who's there for me to support me, who has compassion for me, who has empathy for me, who has love for me?
Or like an absent husband or an absent father, like, oh, he's working all day, like irhami, like don't have any expectation. But it's like, okay, I get it, he's the main breadwinner, but what about building relationships with your spouse? What about building relationships with your children? Like, what are your duties as a man? Like what other duties do you have for your family? Yeah. And those were all lacking, and everybody around me would make justifications like, he loves you, he wants to do this, he wants to do that. And I'm like, well, if he loved me, right, wouldn't I feel loved?
Absolutely.
And I didn't feel loved. I felt owned.
Yeah, like you're a property and controlled. Yeah. Now, when you say domestic violence, you totally don't have to answer this if you don't feel comfortable. But was there any physical abuse?
So throughout the relationship, there was definitely a lot of mental and financial abuse. So that was that. Like, I had to like almost beg him to go to college. Like when I actually entered. Yeah, when I started community college, I had to give him an ultimatum. I was like, listen, if you don't let me go to college, then I'm going to like make this a big deal and get people involved. Let me go to college. Oh my God, I know. I remember exactly where we were sitting. I remember me like, trying to approach the conversation. Like I had to pick for a good day where he came home from work, like relatively calm. Yeah, walking on. Literally. And then later towards, I would say the last year, there was a breaking point, 2019. No. And after that, like I officially separated. I was like, look, you do you, I'll do me. I'm not financially stable to leave the relationship. I'll live for my kids. Mm-hmm. And at that point, it became so toxic, and just like the financial abuse, what's considered physical abuse, right? Like, does he have to lay hands on you, or can he threaten you by throwing things at you? Just creating a sense of fear, right? Does he have to leave a bruise on your face, or could he hold you down and restrain you? No. Like what's the definition? So if you go ask other people outside of our culture, like, what is DV? They'll have this long list of red flags or these signs. But in our community, it's like, do you have any bruises to prove it? No. And unfortunately for me, I didn't have any bruises. And
or it's like, it can be worse. He could do this, but he didn't do that.
Of course. Oh, أنا تحملت. That's what I would hear from the women. فلان عمل فيها هيك وهيها, look now خاتم بصبعها. Like, all these women that used to like have black and blues and like be severely abused, but now 40 years later, their husbands are, on a at their tight leash. And it's like, I don't actually want to be like that.
Especially you have kids, and I know for me as a mom, I want my kids to never see mom and dad treating each other poorly, me not treating him poorly and him not treating me poorly. So I don't know how you I mean, this is pretty recent, 2019. It was like the year before COVID happened. You packed up with 3 kids and just...
Didn't pack up. Oh. So I started really, really slow. And as I mentioned, like at that point in my life, 2019, I had just gotten my first job. I was a part-time farm manager at Montclair Community Farms, working literally like 15, 20 hours a week. So very, very, very new. Mm-hmm. But I was dealing with some mental health challenges. Like I was severely depressed. I was not happy at home, but I would suddenly be happy at work. Like I would be in a community where people are like, wow, you're so amazing. You're so knowledgeable. Like I was getting my feathers fanned, and then I would go home and he'd be like, you're nothing. You're never going to be anything without me. You think rolling around in soil is going to get you far, like things like that. So I'm like, no. So in 2019, I hit a breaking point, and this was a summer I was actually going to go to Palestine with my kids. And I needed a break. Like we needed to separate. We needed to get out or go get away from each other. And so I get to Palestine. First of all, I had a culture shock. I haven't been back to Palestine in something like over 10 years. I think it was like 13 years. And at this point, I'm not wearing hijab in America.
Oh, that's right. You were hijabi and then you took it off. Okay. Did you take it off after your divorce, or?
I took it off. No, actually during my marriage. So I took it off in 2016. When I started going through a lot of changes. I was trying to peel the layers of like, what is wrong with me? Am I unhappy because I'm in the marriage? Is it because I don't want to wear hijab? Is it this? Is it this? So in 2019, ended up going back to Palestine, culture shock. Suddenly I'm wearing hijab and I'm like marit flan, you know, flan, like no identity for myself as like a woman, but I'm the mother of, the daughter of, you know, the wife. It's just, I was so over.
It is an honor, but at the same time, it's like we need to find the balance. It's not too extreme. We have like two different set of extremes.
You can hold it from a place of pride, but you can also view it from a place of like, but who am I? Like, who am I? You know what I mean? If you're putting me in this box.
Yeah.
And I had a really hard time being in that box.
So now when you went back, that's when you decided that this was over?
No. I went back and I was like, okay, let me just get some air. Let me get a different perspective. So I think a week into my stay, I was there for 3 weeks. A week into my stay, he like calls me. He's like, oh, guess what? My family is coming to Palestine. They had no plans on coming to Palestine.
Okay.
But now that I was there living in their house, suddenly their whole entire family was coming to Palestine.
And you think that was done intentionally?
I won't say intentions. I can't speak for other people's intentions, but our relationship was not the healthiest. And just like a lot of the marriages in our culture, like females play a huge role in the dynamics. Like you can definitely make another woman suffer based on
like the mother-in-law,
all of that stuff. So,
alhamdulillah, I will say I never had it in my first marriage or second marriage. I never had that. Alhamdulillah, I'm so grateful. But I've seen family members have that. I've seen friends have it. Well, I think it's also like this notion of like, I know the mother's important. Like we are definitely important.
All respect to the mothers.
Respect to that. But putting that aside, it's just like now his wife is the priority. So you gotta take a step back. You got to live your life. You had that experience. So now let your son experience that.
I was vilified. For me, in my relationship, I was this monster that was trying to take him away from his family. The whole entire relationship. To the point where I was like, you know what, lady, here, take your son. You can have him. But in 2019, that was like the break for me. Like his parents came back and I was trapped in a house with them. And then a couple of days later, he calls me and he's like, and I'm coming back. So I was like, I came here to escape. And now I'm trapped. And I literally had what I would consider like a mental breakdown. I was crying from like, I don't even know, the moment he told me to the day after, and I couldn't stop crying till
it sounds like you were suffocated.
I think that they knew that I was under a lot of pressure and they wanted to like asr alay a little bit more. And gratefully so, they pushed me to a point where I made a mental decision where I was like, one way or another,
right.
Living or dying, I'm getting out of this relationship. And I separated. We lived in the same house that whole entire year. And then COVID happened.
Oh, you stuck with him during COVID?
No, So we lived in the same house during COVID. But while everybody was on lockdown, he was like one of the only people that wanted to stay working. And that to me was like a red flag. I was like, you're jeopardizing your family right now. I don't want you here really, but the fact that you're willing to risk it to go and make a couple of dollars when you don't have to is you're not prioritizing your family. So what are you really doing in your life? What do you really care about?
All right. Well, listen, I'm glad you overcame that situation and you're in a better place. And I think you empowered your daughters too, and your son, for your 3 kids, to say like, this isn't okay. And honestly, I think also in our culture, we need to bring home that if you go through a divorce, like the kids will be okay. I'd rather see parents co-parenting in a positive way versus having them live and see toxicity every day when they're in the household.
110%.
And like ripping each other to shreds.
Truly, from my experience with my kids and like the relationship that I have with my kids, and you know, Dalia, you were...
Yeah, of course.
You need one stable parent. You need one parent that's going to be your grounding force, that's going to advocate and champion for you all your life.
Absolutely.
And if you're lucky, you have two, but you really just need one. And for me, that was a priority. I grew up watching other people's relationship and thinking that was the norm. And suddenly here I was raising 2 beautiful daughters and a son, where I was like, if I accept this to me, like where do my children, what does their standard become? And I want their standard to be up here. So if I'm here, I want them to always be higher. So I had to like really force myself, and alhamdulillah that I did it. for them. Like they were the motivating factor. Like it wasn't easy for me to fight for myself and fight to leave the relationship for me. It wasn't just for me. But when I would put them into perspective, it would just give me the fire to be like, I don't want you to grow up thinking what I have is normal. I want you to grow up to think that I want more than what my mom had.
I want to transition into you working at Montclair Community Farms. So I want to talk about your experience there. It seems like when you started working there, it was something for you. And that's what I think it sounds like you felt really good about. So now you go to Montclair Farms, and tell me about that experience.
Yeah. So at this point, it's 2018.
Okay.
I have my little this Lana homestead in Clifton where I'm like growing this beautiful garden. I got into beekeeping, chicken keeping. And though all of those different things were filling me and I was really loving it and thriving, I was doing backyard education for like the Palestinian Muslim community and like really like leveling up. I applied to this part-time job position. It's like farm manager. I looked at the description. I was like, oh, I don't really have any work experience, but I know I can garden. And like I educated kids before.
Right.
So naively. I had one of my really amazing friends, Claudia, like write up a job description and like, you know, fluff it up a little.
Right.
And so I go into the interview and I'm meeting with this woman. Her name was Marissa, and it's actually really funny. So in the job interview, she's wearing like this black skirt, she's wearing this white top, and she's like so nice to me. And she's asking me all these amazing questions. And then she's like, what's your background? Like, where are you from? And at this point, I'm like, oh man, here it goes. Here I'm about to lose my one chance to getting this job. And she's like, so I'm like, she looked very Jewish. She's Jewish presenting. And I was like, am I going to lie about my identity, or am I going to come out as a Palestinian? I was like, actually, I'm Palestinian.
Right.
And to my surprise, she actually was like very amazing and pro-Palestine. She's actually Greek. And she's like, oh my God, I did my thesis on Palestine.
Oh, that's awesome. Look at that.
Yeah. So I was like, amazing. But yeah, I got my start basically as part-time farm manager at Montclair Community.
That is awesome. So now prior to you working there, you already knew how to grow your own stuff, and you were a beekeeper. How did you get into beekeeping? I'm just curious.
Well, yeah, so I've been a lifelong gardener. So like I talked a little bit about how my parents moved a lot. So the one common denominator for me was always like nature. I grew up in Palestine. I saw my grandparents' love and connection to like the land. My grandmother on my dad's side is also Puerto Rican, so she also came from like a farming community. But when she lived in Palestine, she had this like expansive garden, and they would come back to America and they'd like tell Lena to water and this and that. So I was always growing something no matter where I was. So I had that knowledge, just like generational, passed down, but also like there's this intuitive knowing when it comes to like nature and plants and like connection to like land, soil, that I think comes from like my ancestors.
I think you're gonna have to take me one day to work.
I would love to have you.
I'm just like such a princess when it comes
You
to
can't wear those nails.
touching soil and seeing worms.
These fingernails?
Princess. Like, I love nature, but the idea of being in nature scares me a little bit, because all the animals and the bugs.
Not that scary. I mean, bears maybe, but like that's the worst thing that can.
I'm like just like a princess in the city living.
You can come with me. I'll definitely break you in.
So let's just say if somebody was interested in growing their own food, what would be the first step that they should do? Like, what would they do?
So some fail-proof plants, I would say, for people who want to get started, definitely start with your herbs. A lot of us are Mediterranean, so the Mediterranean herbs are all amazing. So anything like mint, sage, rosemary, thyme, oregano, marjoram, like all of these very hardy plants are drought tolerant because people forget to water their plants in the beginning. So start there, incorporating them into your food, drying them for teas, whatever you're going to use, and then slowly build up. Like maybe you love tomatoes, right?
Right.
Plants are no different than people. You never have a black thumb. It's just a matter of getting to know each person or plant, realizing what their requirements are, what they need to thrive, and then creating the environment to allow for that to happen naturally.
Wow. Okay. I think I want to do that in an apartment, not where I have to go dig into the dirt.
Soil.
I'm sorry. Soil. Excuse me. Soil. For everybody watching, just so you know, it's soil, not dirt. My bad. My bad. My bad. Now, one of the things with obviously eating healthy, right? That's really important. what advice do you have to people in our community in terms of like maybe getting access to healthy food? Like, so if they were interested in coming to Montclair Community Farms, how would is it possible for anybody to just come there and pick up, and how does it work?
So for us, our primary focus is local food access. So we're an organic urban farm. We have a mobile farm stand. So everything that we grow on site or glean or supplement comes from other farms here in New Jersey. We offer food that's below market price. So, you know, we laugh at Whole Foods and we call it whole paychecks. I love organic food. I can't afford to shop at Whole Foods, so I'd rather grow my own food.
Yeah.
But for us, we focus on reducing the cost. We also accept SNAP. We accept the FMNP vouchers for senior citizens.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
WIC. So our goal is to make sure that you have the most nutrient-dense food for the least amount of money.
That's amazing. So you guys hear this. If you want access, I will definitely link it below for people. So this way, if they do want this, I think I'm going to start doing that, because I feel like any supermarket I go to, whether it's Whole Foods, the food is just terrible. Like, you're not getting good quality fruits. You're not getting good quality vegetables. And even with the organic, though, I'm interested in learning more about the organic label, because I heard now organic, especially I think with Bill Gates, and he just they approved Appeal, which is even on organic, they get to use that plastic coating.
There's a lot of controversy around the organic label. There's a lot of loopholes that farmers have found, and basically at this point, the organic label's hijacked. It used to mean something. Now there's a bunch of loopholes.
It sounds like your farm is like the legit organic.
We are 100% organic, regenerative. We don't use any kind of harmful chemicals, but we're really small scale. There's tons of other organic farms that I know that are super reputable, super safe. I mean, in Clifton alone, we have City Green Farms. I'm a member of their, yeah.
I grew up in Clifton. I didn't even know that. How crazy.
We have an amazing organic farm right here in town. They have a farmer's market just like we do in Montclair. They have one in Clifton. They do the same thing that we do. Actually, we partner with them. They're kind of like the leaders in New Jersey. So they're the big guys. We're like the little guys. But organic food can be found pretty much anywhere you are. The most important thing I would say for anybody that's looking to transition from, like, you know, conventionally grown food to organic is to know your farmers.
Yeah.
Like, really know where your food is coming from. You want to be able to talk to the person that's growing your food and ask them questions like, hey, like, how do you get rid of pests on your farm? How do you handle diseases on your farm? What kind of chemicals are you using, if any at all?
Oh, these are questions I wouldn't even, I mean, the chemical part, yes, but like any diseases, I would not even think that.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons why we justified the use of, you know, pesticides and herbicides and all these chemicals on our food. Yeah.
Now, what about any meat? Do you have any insight into like what farms you can go to get halal, good, healthy meat?
Yes, actually, plugging in Halal Pastures.
Okay.
So Halal Pastures is actually a Palestinian-Egyptian run farm. So they're a Muslim-run farm. Yeah, they're amazing.
Where are they located?
Somewhere in I don't want to give the wrong address, but somewhere in upstate.
So we'll link it over here for everybody if they're interested.
Upstate New York, they do halal raised meats, organic halal raised meats, and vegetables. And I know they do a CSA, and they have a farmer's market in New York. Yeah, they're amazing.
It's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna have to check them out, because I get so skeeved out, especially like sometimes I feel like I buy chicken, even though it's saying organic, it looks gray. I'm like, I don't know why. Like, I'm not feeling, my body just rejects it. When I get to a point where I guess I overthink it so much, I don't want to eat. I can't eat this.
Yeah, but there are resources for people who are interested in transitioning, and our goal whenever we're thinking about our money is like using our money for the greater good. Like, we want to empower and support farmers, because farmers are underpaid, overworked, and just seriously disregarded in all communities.
Yeah, I wish our government put more money into this, because as a nation, we're super sick.
Oh, yes, we are.
Very, very sick.
Yes, we are.
And we're not, and our food is killing us. Like, we're literally legit poisoning ourselves.
110%.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
it starts with your food. You want to
No.
fix any part of your health in your life, it starts with what you're putting in your body.
Which totally random, but you mentioned Mediterranean diet. I think research-based, that is the #1 healthiest diet, I think, out of any diet you could think of. Whereas like people go crazy, like, I'm going to avoid meat, or I'm going to avoid vegetables, or whatever it may be. But the reality is, if you do a Mediterranean balanced diet, chances are you're going to be healthy in the terms of where you lose weight and maintain a good healthy weight.
Really, for me, I think everything in moderation.
Right.
Everything in moderation. When
Nothing
when you take anything you're doing into an extreme, it becomes unhealthy, no matter what you're doing, whether it's like veganism, vegetarianism, or you know, a carnivore diet, anything that's going to throw off your body and your balance, I think is overboard.
What's your take on that? I don't want to say mystery meat, but what is this?
Oh, the lab grown. I would be afraid.
You know, I tried it at one point. I thought it was the legit. And yeah, now I'm like, oh my God, it's all manipulation.
I'm not interested. I'm not interested in that. I'd rather support like local farmers.
Right. And honestly, I think Allah created animals for us to be able to eat from them and also keep warm from them, because that's why I know what is that organization, PETA? They may not like the idea of you wearing like animal sheepskin or whatever. But the reality is, I think as long as it's done the halal way, where the animal doesn't exhibit any type of anxiety, this is what the whole halal or pain, where he doesn't see himself or herself being killed, that I think it's okay.
Yeah.
That's just, my opinion at least. I know many people won't agree with that.
Yeah,
but
many people won't agree with that.
Allah has everything planned for us for a reason, and this is why.
Well, they're resources, right, for us to be used. And just thinking about like
responsibility.
Yeah, just thinking about any like indigenous practice of like when you take from the land or when you sacrifice an animal, you want to be able to use every single part. That's how we honor the plants and the animals. So when you're thinking about like, whatever animal you're thinking of, if you're a hunter, this or that, you want to find a use for everything down to like the bones.
Yeah. Well, I think also like our meat now, I think that's also contributing to the anxiety that everyone's feeling. Like it's like they're dying in these crazy farms. They're not clean. They're not well maintained. And then here we are eating them.
Well, I think there was a study that found like high levels of cortisol in like the animals. So if we take a closer look at how our meat animals are raised, that's actually how I got into chicken keeping, backyard chicken. So I learned about factory farming and the way that we were raising our poultry and like our cattle. And I was like, oh my God, this is actually horrendous. Like how, like just the way that they manipulate the biological.
Yeah, because they make them grow really quickly. Well, how long does it take for a chicken to like grow healthy? Like 45 days or 60 days?
So it depends on what. So if you're raising chickens for egg laying, it's a different kind of breed. But if you're raising chickens for meat birds, they now have like this hybrid. What is it called? I forgot what they call it, but it basically is fully mature in like 4 months, around 4 months, and you have like the chicken that goes from like an egg day-old chick to like a full-grown meat bird, and they can't survive past the 4 months. Let's just say because they get so
die too, and
they get so heavy they can't stand on their legs. So those are specifically bred as.
Yeah. There's a great book. I think it's called The Lawsuit. Hang on, The Animals' Lawsuit Against Humanity.
Oh,
it's a great book, actually. I read that many years ago. But look, they actually sue us for like not being able to take care of any,
We're destroying our ecosystems everywhere you go. Just the way that we raise meat destroys our ecosystem. The way that we add, pollutants into our waterways, the pollutants, like all the chemical fertilizers that go into our soils. All of this is interconnected. It ends up somewhere. It's not just that, a dead end road. It's like cycles through different ecosystems and it stays on our planet.
Wow. All right. So you started essentially farming back in Palestine, in Palestine, or just seeing it. So take us back there, like where your grandparents, you said owned land, and they would grow. What did they grow on?
So my grandparents came to the States probably around the 60s or late 50s, 60s. But prior to that, they were living in a really small farming village. So they were living off of the animals that they raised. They were sustenance farmers. Like if they grew it, they had it. If they didn't grow it, like they would have to like travel miles and miles for markets. When they came here, my grandparents became merchants and then they had kids here. So every time they would go back and we were there, my grandfather would be tending like the olives. Very traditional, very common in Palestinian communities to have like different fruit trees like surrounding your home. And so like I would see my grandparents do that. Like my Darsidi have like a beautiful inbel, like they have a beautiful grapevine. So like they would take so much pride in like cultivating them and then harvesting them and then sharing with neighbors. And you would always see like fig trees and olive trees, like all of the things. And also it taught me how to live seasonally, which I didn't rediscover till late in my 20s. Like we live seasonally over there in Palestine. Like, khiyar, cucumber has a season, fakus has a season, olives have a season.
What's fakus?
It's a different type of cucumber, kind of like I think they call it like Armenian cucumber. It's like yeah, focus. It's actually my favorite. My grandma pickles them. That's my favorite. خلال فكوس.
Oh, okay. Now I think I know what you're talking about now that you said pickled. Okay. Because we pickle everything.
When you're there in Palestine, you have a higher chance of finding it fresh. Here, you can rarely find it because it doesn't like water.
All right. So now when you're in Palestine, take me through, let's talk about identity. Because, obviously you're born here, you're raised here, and you go back. And what is that like for you? I know you experienced something very traumatic over there, which, if you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to share it, but hopefully you will share it. So at least the audience can, benefit from the story.
So I would have to say, just to like quickly summarize, like identity, I think I grew up very confused. Like I was born and raised to first generation American parents. They're Palestinian, but still first generation American. Right. We had this like upbringing of going to public school, having neighbors that were American, right? And then suddenly you're thrown into like a village in Palestine where you know no Arabic, you're forced to learn it. Then you're labeled like the Americaniyya, the American.
Yes,
then you start picking up these like traits, right? Like, no, I'm Palestinian, this, that. You start learning the language and it becomes slowly ingrained. And I think that each part of my childhood had like a different chapter. Like when I was younger, it was okay for me to be like running in the streets as a girl, as a tomboy. Young age, like under 10, before puberty, under 13, it's not that aib, right? Yeah. And then as you grow up, you start hearing that word like aib. And I think that's where like the crises started, like when these other expectations of you as like a young Palestinian woman start being laid out. Oh, I can't look, I can't look up. I have to be home all day. I have to learn how to cook and how to clean. And so you kind of, your identity gets shaped.
I mean, were you like told like, okay, now you got to stay in, let's start making this kusa or start making ma'lube?
Really like that. But like when we, like I said, we went back and forth from America to Palestine. Mm-hmm. So when I was living there as a young girl, I was like wild and free. Then I came back to America, right? Then I went back as a 15-year-old. So I thought as a 15-year-old, like I can live my lifestyle the way I lived it at.
Right. Yeah.
Where I can be out going to the store. And my mom's like, no, actually you can't do that. And we came from America, we were teenage girls, like we had our hair out, and suddenly this like hajjah camp comes and tells my mom, like, your daughters have to wear hijab. Make sure your daughters wear hijab. And then my mom's like, oh, the rules are the rules. We're living in their...
So that's how you wore the hijab?
Yeah, basically. My mom was like, sorry, you can't leave the house till you wear hijab. And I was like, the heck? And so I protested.
Wow.
And then my older sister caved first. And then so I wore hijab at 15 because some hajjah told me I have to wear hijab.
Some hajjah.
Yeah. So you're not Palestinian enough. You're not American enough.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And you have this like whole entire identity crisis. Like who really am I?
You're the third generation technically. Is there's like you're kind of thrown into two different cultures,
different worlds.
Navigate both of them to discover who you are.
Exactly. And that whole search didn't really start till honestly my 30s. And by the time I hit my 30s, I was at this crossroads where I was like, well, I lived the first 15 years under the dictatorship of my parents, basically. Then I met my ex, right? And then for the next 15 years of my life, basically, it was be who he wants you to be. Yeah. And at 30, I started like rediscovering myself, like really like fighting like to take off hijab and going back to school and like really breaking down some of like the social constructs and the social conditioning of my community. Like, what is it that I believe in? What is it that I actually want to do? Right. Like, where did I get this outlook and perspective on certain situations? Is it mine or was somebody drilling it down my brain?
Right. So it seems like you did a lot of the work. How would you say you're different now with your kids compared to like how you were raised? I'm sure culture is also very important to you now, especially with what's happening in Palestine.
Very important.
So you want to instill that in them, but you also don't want to be what you came from, right? So how do you balance that?
Well, I think that stepping into my identity as a Palestinian woman and really demonstrating how we can function in both worlds, you don't actually have to let it go, right? So like part of my working experience was showing up as who I was and being accepted for it, not being afraid. So like I never hide that I'm Palestinian. I never like kind of like, I actually wear that with pride.
Right, absolutely.
So with my girls seeing that, they're like, wow, like there's no shame in being Palestinian. There's no shame in being a Palestinian woman or being outspoken, right? Or having an opinion or this or that. there's also stuff that I definitely have let go of, right? Like certain expectations of like how to be, how to dress, how to talk, how to present, like, you know, just
Because you realize they're more culture. They're not really.
it's 100% culture. It's not really religion at all. Like, if anything, if we were to stick to their religion, people would have been advocating for me to go to college,
No.
right?
Right, absolutely.
Important factor in Islam. It's
I
culture
remember-
that doesn't allow.
I think in Syria for me, like my mom is the oldest of 11 kids, 2 boys, all girls, and all my aunts are different. Like I think some of them wore hijab, some didn't, some dressed the way they want to. My mom doesn't wear hijab. But I can think of the hijab part. I don't think I was ever told like you have to wear it. I was never like given the feeling like this is something. I was only told that you have to get married.
Yeah, no, hijab is a big thing in our
Right.
community. I think in my village specifically, I would say like 98% of women wear it, especially women over 30. Maybe there's a lot younger girls that don't wear it now, but like I would say like 98% of the women in my village wear hijab.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's the same in Palestine, but I know in Syria and let's say Lebanon, they take pride in kind of being like the more modern countries. You don't think so?
For us, no.
Yeah, no, Palestine maybe not, but I know in Syria, this is what I always felt. I mean, I could totally be wrong, but I always felt in Syria and Lebanon, it was always, we took pride because obviously, you know, we had French influence. So it's like, you wear what you want. Like I remember in the 80s, I would see women
Wearing
sleeveless tops, like normal in Syria. But I also saw the extreme where you're wearing a burqa, you're not showing anything.
Yeah, no, for us, that's definitely not the norm. Like so back to my daughters and like, you know, their identity as like Palestinians. One thing I wish I understood was like code switching with your identity. So like before I took my kids back in 2024, I had to explain to them what code switching was.
Right.
And that was like such an important moment in like my mothering and just like preparing their mental health. It's not that I didn't want them to be who they are. I just had to remind them that we're about to enter into an environment where self-expression is very limited and the expectations are very high. So like Dalia, for example, has like very, very wildly beautiful, luscious, curly hair.
Yeah, I love her curly hair.
First day we got there, she got yelled at.
Really? SubhanAllah.
Yeah. Like, why is it so like loud and this and that? Like, inti mish Espanoliyya, inti Palestiniyya. And it's like, okay, Palestinians have curly hair too. Clearly, because my daughter is Palestinian.
Yeah.
But the mentality over there was like, you know, loud, big hairs, a no-no. Pin straight hair is more acceptable, but the expectation really is that you're wearing hijab.
And they don't realize that even as your hair, it's not about whether you're trying to be Latin or Espanoliyya. It's about you wearing your hair naturally. Like you're just learning to love your hair.
No, I actually had to talk to my grandma about like, you know, beauty standards. And like, I had to ask her when she was talking about Dalia's hair as well. And I was like, where do you, like, are Palestinians blonde haired, blue eyed, fair skin, or are we actually olive, dark hair, strong features, brown and black eyes? Like the reason why we love this whiteness is because it was drilled into us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Did she understand all of that truly? Like, I don't think so, but I had to say it just to speak my truth, like, and help her understand to some degree that this is who Dalia is because of her ancestors that came before her. Like, she has curly hair because my grandma has curly hair. Newsflash, you, Sitti, have curly hair.
And let's think about us Arabs. I mean, we come in all like shapes and sizes and colors. Like, no one realized that you could be black and be Arab, and you could be super, super white and be Arab. And yeah, the hair is a big one. I know my mom growing up, she's like, Sidi Shada, like dye your hair blonde. And at one point I toyed with it and I did. And I'm like, I don't know. It's not me. It doesn't feel like it's me. Like I love the dark hair.
Yeah, I love the dark hair too. And like growing up, like that was a big thing for us too. Cause like my other sister, like I'm the only one with green eyes. And people would be like my mom has 4 daughters. She'd be like, Ya Allah ma ahlaha hadi.
You would get the attention.
And I'd be like, like awkward, like what makes me any more beautiful than my other beautiful sisters? And it's like the features, like this like colonial mindset of like being white and like light eyed. And
you know, my daughter is olive skin and she's half Egyptian, half Syrian. So people always be like, oh, she's not Syrian. Like actually, she looks like my sister. My sister's also olive skin, and so is my dad, and they're both Syrian. So what are you talking about? But it's just like we show these kind of like, I guess call it microaggressions of these through statements of he's like, your son, he's Syrian. Like, what the hell does that mean? Because you're judging him because my son is fair skin. So like this is exactly how they judge it. I'm like,
When you really think about it, it's like, oh my God, this
subhanAllah, where it comes from. Like, even if you just recognize it, it's not even you. Like, this is not coming from you. It's coming because you've been conditioned to believe this. All right. So walk us through now to the situation in Palestine. You're with your friends. You're trying to leave the West Bank.
So, living in Palestine, I would say 2003, 2006, I was in high school. I was living illegally because we overstayed our visa, so you become an illegal. Like you have
So like there's a visa in the West Bank.
no, so when you enter into Israel, they give you a 3-month visa.
Okay.
And at this point in my life, we were here to stay.
Oh, okay.
Was for us to stay years. So I technically had a United States passport and I was an American citizen, but I didn't have a visa, which would prohibit me from traveling through checkpoints.
Got it. Okay.
And, there were all sorts of different situations that would happen, but the more likely one would be that they would send you back wherever you're going. So once upon a time, I'm traveling through a checkpoint and, I'm like this rambunctious, loudmouth 16-year-old. And the army, the IDF soldier didn't look much older than me, which I think made me feel a little more emboldened. And I was like, you can't send me back. Like, what the heck? Like, no, let me go. It's 6 p.m. I have to go back. And I was like, I'm an American citizen. And this was the moment that I realized, I think, that being Palestinian-American meant nothing.
Meant nothing, yeah.
In Palestine, you're just seen as a Palestinian. And he held up his rifle right to my face and he was like, made in America.
That's absolutely insane. I can't believe this. And how did you feel in that moment? I'm sure you were terrified.
I was absolutely terrified. I literally zipped my mouth up. I think I was in tears. I was literally visibly shaken. And the people behind me too.
I was thinking about it, honestly.
Oh yeah. I mean, I honestly, who would ever want to be in that position, especially as a young girl?
And you're with your friends. Your parents aren't even there.
Oh yeah, it was just my friends. And he was like, you're not passing, go back. And I looked at my cousin. The rest of the crew went because they had Palestinian identity, so they all went. And I looked at my cousin. I was like, oh, I guess we're gonna make our way back. And I had to leave the checkpoint. I was crying. I didn't know where to go because you had to take back end roads. And alhamdulillah, the beautiful thing about Palestine is الناس لبعضها. Like the people are really for the people, and there's never a thought of not being safe. Like if you get into a taxi with a random man, there's very little chances that you're going to be in harm's way. Actually, they're more protective over the younger generation and women especially. So I literally went into a taxi and I was like, hey, أنا بدي أروح, I need to get home. And رجعوني من المحسوم, they sent me back from the checkpoint, and he was like, don't worry, I'll take you. And we went through back roads and I got home safely. But there were countless stories like that. Like when I was living in Palestine, you hear these stories of the IDF coming into your household and searching your home. They would do routine drills.
Yeah, I heard that to kind of make their shifts go by faster. They're like, which house should we go in today?
The prime target. And I remember the first time when we were living there new, and it was the middle of the night and the phone rang and it was our neighbor down the road. She knew that we were here from American News our first couple months, and she's like, I just want to give you the heads up that the Yehud, the IDF, we call them Yehud, but really IDF, is in our neighborhood and they might come to your house. And my mom started freaking out, panicking. She woke us all up. And I'll never forget being half asleep, kind of stumbling out of bed, the hard knock coming on the door, and then suddenly being flooded with IDF soldiers. And my mom.
So they entered your house.
They entered our house. Yeah, this is typical routine thing. So they entered our house. I remember my mom being so nervous, thinking oh my God, I have young girls. What if?
God forbid, yeah.
What if something happens? Shaking. My mom's a big chicken too.
No, but this is very scary. I mean, you have these people coming into your home with weapons.
That was the norm. You almost have to accept it. That's the only way. You can't live in fear. You just accept it for.
And do they talk to you? What do they do when they're in a house?
It's just training. They're doing this even now. My mom is in Palestine actually visiting, and she now they're becoming a little more aggressive. Where if you don't open up the door, they'll actually blow it open. And so they're doing trainings, searching people's houses. Now they're a little more emboldened even from 15, 20, 25 years ago, where now you're hearing stories of the IDF doing actual searches this drills where they actually take gold or money from houses.
Yeah.
Like if they find something, they just pocket it. But there's absolutely nothing you can do. You're helpless in this situation, and you're at the mercy of whoever psychopath is coming into your door.
Yeah.
Your door. This is like the life of Palestinians, and surprisingly so, they don't live in fear. Like
Right.
fear is not an option, I think, when you're living in.
Well, I mean, listen, one thing I've learned, especially with everything that's been going on for the past couple of years, is Palestinians are literally, I mean, I thought I had issues, my goodness. And I always knew as an Arab, I knew to an extent what they were experiencing, but I did not know to the extent of what then I learned afterwards. Because I took a class on Middle Eastern studies and like I had an idea. But then when you actually start seeing in the footage, I'm just like, this is like terrible. But they're just some of the most resilient people I've ever, and I can't believe it. And they're so kind and humble. And just with this kid, the recent story of this, who was it? Sergeant Aguilar, the guy who just kind of is a whistleblower. And he's talking about this kid, Amir. Yeah, his name is Amir, who came to get food and he kissed his hand and then he was just shot. It's really serious and it's unfortunate that how many more Palestinians need to die? How many more kids do we need to see?
Truth is in the pudding. We have everything documented, and Palestinians have been yelling,
screaming
longs for 76 years about this colonial power, this destructive, horrible, evil government that the whole world is essentially.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I recently posted a video on my Instagram page and somebody sent it to me where I work. And it was honestly, it wasn't saying anything bad, but I did say that IDF soldiers are immersed in a system that dehumanizes Palestinians, which they absolutely are. But it's almost like I was giving them an excuse because, yes, you mentioned earlier that they're young, and they are young. A lot of these people, 18-year-olds, are coming from like New York or Louisiana, and they're coming to Israel and they're joining the IDF, and their brain isn't fully developed, and they're also being conditioned to target Palestinians. It's a game, so it's like both parties are being controlled in a way. It's really unfortunate, and I think that the more we speak, I mean, obviously speaking out about it is really good, but the fact that when you're speaking out about it, you're put in a position where your job is at risk, where you can lose things. Whereas, like, no, it's fair game at this point, especially with everybody, what we're seeing online. It's absolutely unacceptable. I don't know how any government can function like this, to do this to people.
I mean, what's interesting, right, is if you were to speak out against any other government, it would be totally fine. But the fact that we're speaking out against Israel specifically, it seems to be some kind of like horrible act. Like, you know, people will label you as an anti-Semitic. For me, like, I'm in food access. Literally, my job is to make sure that people have access to food. So imagine 2 years into this genocide of food being weaponized.
Right.
And initially, when everything happened after October 7th, I was that, you know, quick Facebook defender, and people were like out there dehumanizing Palestinians saying these horrible racist things, and I was advocating for them. And I had people reach out to my funders at work and basically call me anti-Semitic for sharing my personal experiences. I actually said that in one of the posts. I said, I lived in the West Bank. I lived under occupation. I know what it's like to be dehumanized. I know what it's like to have a gun put in my face. And still people called my experiences anti-Semitic. And, you know, I think that we're at a really important time right now because of the younger generation of Palestinians, and alhamdulillah for their resilience and their intellect and their courage to actually be able to learn English in Gaza, like all of these amazing.
Well, they had the highest like educated population, I think, living under occupation.
Think about this. Like, the only reason we have semi-control over the narrative right now is because we have a whole generation of young people who have access to the internet and see the world living free and open and having the ability to travel and organize and speak out, but they're not afforded these rights. And it's like, how could anybody justify this? Like, what makes the people of Gaza and the people of Palestine any different from the rest of the world? You want to sleep peacefully in your warm bed. You want to tuck your children in and give them goodnight kisses safely as every human on this planet. And so should they. And the fact that people are targeting activists, like whether it's me, you, or other people, is just absolutely absurd in my opinion.
Well, I think at one point, especially in the Arab community, we need to get a list together of whoever has a job has been contacted, threatened that you're going to lose your job, and we need to reach out to CARE. Because honestly, it's just like you can't expect me as an Arab Muslim American woman to sit back and be okay with what's happening. And also the whole anti-Semitic thing, like we are Semitic people. Like, what are you talking about? If you look up the very definition of the Semite is somebody who speaks Aramaic, Hebrew, Arabic. So we are Semites, so we cannot be against ourselves. It's absolutely such an absurd argument.
And the two-state solution was created as a distraction. There's no possibility of having a two-state solution. And they separated so much of the West Bank. Like, it's literally fragmented to the point where it's a telltale sign of divide and conquer. They separated all of us, and now they're even right now they're occupying the West Bank. Like, they separated us from other villages, right? So we lost communication. It's harder to travel. Like, even now, culturally speaking, it's harder to travel from one village to another. Like, your neighbors, if your cousins, your relatives, it's hard to use the same highway because it's so unsafe. It's so unsafe for you to be on the shared highways of Israelis and Palestinians because Palestinian vehicles are constantly targeted. We have different color license plates than the Israelis. And so the settlers will actually wait for you to pass by and throw bricks at your car. So people stopped visiting each other. And now what they're doing with the land grab, now that everybody's distracted with Gaza, the West Bank land grab is basically they create these very small satellite colonies around other villages. Right? So my village started with one little settlement, right? This guy put up one of these shipping containers. Over the course of a couple of months, it became 2 shipping containers. Then they paved a little road to get him access to the highway. Then he got a 4-wheeler, like a quad. Then it became 3 containers. Then now he has a whole entire road up to my grandfather's land. Now my grandfather goes to his land. He gets threatened by this Israeli settler that has a big gun. So now olive season comes. My grandparents can't harvest their olives. Next year comes again. They can't harvest again. Now this whole entire segment is his because he has cameras and he's watching whoever comes to this parcel of land. And that's happening all over. Now this year, there's a new settlement.
A lady, what's her name? She's one of the most evil people I've ever seen. The older woman who's like literally considered the mother of all these illegal settlements. She's definitely encouraging more illegal settlements.
This everywhere. They're doing this everywhere.
And just how some of them are like lusting over Gaza. Like, oh, we can't wait to move there. Just drooling and salivating. Like, have some, like, احترمي حالك يعني.
How human beings can salivate over land that has literally the blood of a whole entire people is beyond me. I wouldn't even want to live across the street from a grave site, let alone on top of a place where thousands of Palestinian lives have been destroyed. Like, how could anybody have the conscience to do that?
No. One thing I wanted to segue into, something I want to add is like right now with the whole food situation, I keep saying like Hamas is taking all the food. I'm like, there's literally like your settlers are stopping the trucks. Like they're on camera sitting in front of the trucks, not letting them enter Gaza. And the excuse is Hamas, Hamas, Hamas.
What's wild to me is that people actually buy into that, right? So like you have like the Israel government saying Hamas is stealing food with no proof. And people chew that up and believe it. And then you have countless videos of Israelis and their children blocking aid trucks, cutting packages of flour, dropping aid that's killing more Palestinians.
Or lacing the flour.
You know, like these absurd things.
Going back to the food aspect, prior to all this happening, their daily intake was still kept
basically the minimum calorie intake that somebody can actually survive. So like people are not allowed to like actually thrive in their health. It's just enough to keep them alive. And what they're sending over is like crackers, like flour, like bread, like that there's no nutrient value in that. Like maybe there is something, but like what about fruits and vegetables? Fruits and vegetables the prices are exorbitant. Like people can't even afford to buy a tomato. Like you actually cannot.
That's why one of the things, like when obviously with Qasas Hamra, one of my goals is I want to raise as much money as possible to donate as much as I can, because I've been giving here and there, but I'm like, this is not enough. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, it's not enough. They need food.
Enough. I'm at the point right now where I realize like nothing we do is enough. Even if we gave our lives, it's still.
I mean, the Palestinians have been paying with their lives, sadly.
It's never going to be enough. What's happening right now in Gaza. What's happening right now in Gaza has like changed me on a molecular level.
Yeah.
Like I coined this term like genocide depression. Like on the outside, I might look normal, behave normal, function semi-normal at work, but at any given moment, I can crumble and just break down at like the level of helplessness.
No. Well, there's a collective trauma we're all experiencing.
Totally. Like it's definitely not normal to wake up in the morning and see body parts, starving children, maimed children, women crying, men crying. Like it breaks my heart. I cannot watch a video of a Palestinian man crying because it triggers
the soul of my soul. I think of that man
my
and
God.
I'm like, you take our men and present them as their animals to the world. How you have
To justify killing.
them perceived in movies and to justify killing them when they're like, if you see them, they're in freaking slippers digging rubble and saving people's lives.
The men of Gaza are my heroes. The men
Yeah.
of Palestine are my
The
heroes.
women, all of them, the kids, especially. I follow a few of the Instagram pages.
That's nibka zayhim. Just
Yeah.
my wish is for us to have a fraction of their courage and their resilience. They are
Yeah.
teaching and shaping the world. I look up to the people of Gaza.
Yeah. Well, ever since obviously we're all Palestinian now, I think about them all the time.
Yeah, it's
And
so
I mean, for me, when this all started, I mean, my son was 4 months, so I was like literally sitting on a couch nursing him, and I'm on my phone watching this. I would cry and cry and cry, and I'm just like, and I look around, I'm like, this isn't life. Like, look at what's really happening. Like, this is the purpose of life. Like, you got to sit there and stick up for people, and not waste your time on superficial things. So I gave up a lot, honestly. Like, I course corrected my life as a result of Palestine.
Yeah, totally. I mean, my whole Instagram page, This Be Lana, was focused on sharing the beauty and abundance of nature and the garden and the food that I'm growing. And I cannot bring myself to post the food that I'm growing. Like,
Because you feel bad.
because I feel so guilty. And honestly, like I made the mistake of posting something like earlier this year. And like I have so many friends now in Gaza, and you know, they send me like sad emojis and like they'll say like sahtain, and I'm like, the shame like destroyed me. Like I don't have the same taste and I don't enjoy food the same way that I did before.
I think we keep speaking up, and Arabs, we do have big mouths. Like, we're definitely not going to be put into a corner. And I think it's one collective characteristic trait that we all have, which I absolutely love about our people, that you're not going to tell us. Like, no, we're going to tell you, and we're fair. You know, and what I love also about our people, we're not cult-like. Like, I'm not following you just because you're Arab and you're Palestinian. Like, if you were doing wrong, we would call you out too.
Totally.
You know, this was the other way around. If Palestinians were doing to like other group of people, we'd be speaking up against it.
Yeah.
We're not violent people. We are people who are educated. We value knowledge. We value family, and we want to live our life. So let us be.
It just goes back to, you know, this dehumanization of Muslims, Arabs, brown people. It's all part of a greater narrative. And we can look very closely at school shooters. You know what I mean? Like, why do school shooters most of the time tend to be white Christian men? Why aren't we vilifying all white Christian men?
No, it's just mental illness.
Oh, yeah, because white people, it's mental illness. If you're brown, you're a terrorist, and your whole community goes down with you. So this double standard, just, you know, people are waking up to it. We're realizing, you know, this whole narrative of, you know, manufactured consent. People are realizing, like, hey, no more propaganda, please.
Well, I will tell you, one of the things I've always been blessed with being raised in this country is I have a very, very diverse group of friends. And a lot of my white friends are completely against what's happening, and they're speaking out. They're posting online. Prior to that, they had no idea. They didn't know. And I don't necessarily blame like, oh, okay, if you're white, you don't know. They don't know. The reality is they're meant not to know. It's like the way that life is created here. It's meant where you're just working your ass off. You don't have time to sit there and focus on other nations.
Well, where are they going to learn if they didn't have a direct connection to a Middle Eastern woman to program their own brains, right? Because like, what is the stereotype of like a Middle Eastern woman? She's wearing all black, maybe she's wearing khimar, she's oppressed, she's this, she's that.
Oh yeah, we're always oppressed.
Oppressed. But in reality, we come in all shapes and sizes. We have different experiences, just you and me in this conversation. Like, I had a totally different experience as an Arab woman than you had. And then you go talk to the next one. So it's really important for us to integrate into our societies and into our workplaces and really model positive, empowered behaviors so that it invites the conversation of letting go of this narrative, this bias of what an Arab is.
No.
And it really is up to us. Like, all my friends, like, they know I'm proud Palestinian. They know all about, like, you know, the occupation even prior to October 7th. So when October 7th happened, like, I didn't have to explain anything to the people in my circle because I was outwardly Palestinian. I openly shared my experience as a young Palestinian living in Palestinian.
Yeah. And especially, I think after this all happened, like, if you had real friends, like, they should have been reaching out, like, are you okay? Like, just asking, are you okay? Because we all like, listen, there's a collective trauma. I feel it every single day. And I'm not even from there, nor do I live there. It's unfortunate because we are great people. We have a lot to contribute to this world. We have contributed a lot to this world, and you have just destroyed everything.
And taken taken credit for it.
Credit for it. Like, if you know, you know. Like, go look up who created the first plane model, who invented coffee.
I forgot what I was reading once, like some kind of like book or article on like the evolution of coffee and how we as like Middle Easterners and Arabs used coffee as a stimulant, and that's where like math and medicine and all of this other stuff started really evolving. And like, so like, we are the foundation of all of that knowledge.
All right, guys. So we just took a break. We are back on. We need to take a break because we're talking a lot. So you wanted to talk about roots of resilience. So tell us more about that.
Well, first, I actually have a gift for you.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh my God. Oh, look at this.
Our first merch. So with our logo, Roots of Resilience, and Roots of the Resilience. Oh, and
honey from the beekeeper. I love it. Thank you. Oh, this is definitely all mine. I'm going to hide this. This be Lana. I love this. Thank you so much, Habibti.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Dicky, thank you so much. Let's check this out. I definitely will be rocking this bag.
I'm Arab, and it's aib to show up to somebody's house empty-handed. No, I wanted to, honestly.
Thank you. I'll put this right here for now. All right, so tell us more about this organization.
So Roots of Resilience is an organization that I founded last summer, actually. So it's very new. Its primary focus is to support Palestinian farmers in the West Bank. We do that through different forms. So we have like educational programs, we do land-based solidarity, and mutual aid direct funds to help different projects. So this April, actually, I took my first group back to Palestine. It was amazing. I had the most incredible time just showing people that know something about Palestine or have been aware, but really enriching them with the culture and also supporting the farmers. So we spent We spent 2 weeks traveling to different farms, talking to different farmers, and also just like giving them an outlet to kind of express what the situation is and how it's affecting them, how it's prohibiting them from actually like growing their own food, and ways that we can support directly. Like, one farmer needed, funds to build a fence around his property because the wild boars that Israel releases to destroy Palestinian crops were destroying all his crops, right? There was another woman that we supported who was, I think, 98 years old, who needed help like weeding. And so we supported a young man, gave him some funds to actually help with the weeding process, right? So like little things like this. But it's been so eye-opening for me, even as a Palestinian, to just be able to connect with so many people outside my immediate community and honestly see Palestine in a way that I've never saw it before.
I think that's when I started following you, because Dalia told me, like, my mom has this organization. I was like, I want to check it out. And I started following it. It was so nice to see like everything from your point of view of seeing how they grow things, the farmland, the hajj. I think there was a hajj walking with a stick, right? Doing things.
I love them. They're so inspiring. I mean, when you think about like what's happening in Gaza and in the West Bank, and you think about the connection to food and land, like that's a threat to them. Any Palestinian that is self-sustaining, that is finding a way to create their own revenue streams, like income, is a threat to them. They want to control and dominate every aspect of Palestinian life. So farmers naturally are a threat to them. So what we're seeing now post October 7, not only are we seeing these wild land grabs, right, but we're also seeing the concentration of farmers and the push away from land into cities. So a lot of the shepherds that we see, they would, take their sheep and they would roam mountains and mountains. But now that there are all these satellite settlements, they can't go far away. So they're basically trapped in these small areas around their villages, and even then still getting threatened. Like when I was there, a villager 2 villages away, the Israeli settlers came in. They created like a ruckus in the center of town, like a little fire distraction, while all the men were coming to like confront and protect and put out the fires.
Yeah.
They stole all his sheep. We're seeing this everywhere, like the cementing of waterways, right? Like them pouring cement in actual wells. This is so people don't feed their animals.
And by the way, for the record, in West Bank, there is no Hamas, but yet all this is happening.
It has nothing to do with Hamas or the Palestinian Authority. It's really just a land grab and colonization of Palestinian lands. That's really all it is. And they're getting away with murder. The settlers right now are so emboldened.
Well, and they live there for free. They're paid money through the government. So they have all the time on their hands to do whatever they want.
Free healthcare,
free college. Our tax dollars where we work has to go.
That, I think, is the bane of
the worst.
That's like what hurts me the most. The fact that like we're in this country and we're contributing members to this society, right? This social fabric that makes up America. And the fact that I can't have a say into where I want my money, my tax money allocated, is just absolutely absurd. Like, I want my tax dollars, if I'm giving up any money to Uncle Sam, I want my tax dollars to go to infrastructure in the United States. I want it to go to health care. I don't want my daughter to graduate college with $100,000 in student loans. You know what I mean? I want free health care.
I mean, I think right now, the way I see it, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I'm like, what's her name? That rap, Margaret Taylor Greene, her, where she's saying only America. I feel like right now, don't send money to anybody. Make it only America, invest in America and Americans, and let's do and see how we can flourish, because let's say our older population in America, like the older people, they're just neglected.
Yeah, I do a lot of work with senior citizens through my work at Montclair Community Farms. Like our primary focus are actually marginalized communities, specifically
for senior citizens. Okay.
Yeah, we do a lot of programs with them, and they're some of my favorite people to work with because the love that they give and the connections that they want to make with you as a young person they're just so pure and genuine, and you can tell that they're deprived of this kind of connection. Like a lot of people have their parents in nursing homes or assisted living facilities, and maybe their kids are out of state or they're working out of state, whatever it is. So these people don't have visitors. And I have this background of like living in Palestine, like watching my grandparents taking care of the elderly, like their parents, and like this just respect and revere for like the elderly, just like the amount of wisdom that they carry. So like I listen to them, I talk to them.
This is something I wish in America we put more emphasis on, like the senior citizens taking care of our like, I mean, just the floods that was in Texas,
like, taking care of each other.
Why is this happening? Why do we not have access to, some places don't have access to water? Like, we're in the United States of America, one of the best countries in the world.
FEMA was so bad. Like, you can look back at like the response to like Hurricane Katrina and like even Hurricane Sandy. Like, FEMA was so bad then. Now it's completely defunded. Like, this whole thing with like the Texas floods, like they were all figuring things out on their own. Like the communities had to save themselves. The government didn't come and save them.
Right, but we have so much time on our hands.
To fund ICE, to fund the army, to fund Israel bombing Gaza, to fund all of this insane, what is this, alligator Alcatraz that we're calling it now for like the immigrant community? Like,
oh, I don't know the
yeah, I think they're calling it alligator Alcatraz or something, where they're building a prison right on top of a swamp or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's like the newest thing.
You're more knowledgeable than I am.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to know, but then I find things.
Well, I mean, it's all connected. To some degree, it is connected. And I think once Palestinians are free, then honestly, the whole world will be better off.
Yeah. They called it, Palestine is the litmus test.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you think you're not racist, but you are supporting Israel, you're racist.
You definitely don't appreciate Arabs or don't value Arab lives, that's for sure.
But it's up to us to continue speaking out. It's up to us to continue supporting our communities, to continue empowering our young men and our women, because they are the future, right? Like, we're all paving the road for Palestinian liberation, and it's not going to happen without unity amongst us in our communities. And I think that's something that we need to focus on now, not later.
Well said. All right, everyone. We had a very interesting conversation. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. It is time for now our Yalla Let's Pop. Now, what this is, I'm going to give you a red soda because we are Qazoza Hamra. And some people, in case you're confused about the name, Qazoza Hamra, Qazoza Hamra literally just means red soda. And it's from Syria. Usually when I was a kid, I would go to Halab. If you're a Halabiya like me, you would know because we say Qazoza Hamra. All right, let's pop this soda. So Yalla, let's pop. I didn't give me that. I didn't give that like pop sound.
I got the pop sound.
And then I'm going to ask you, we're going to go through a lightning round of just silly questions to get to know you a little better. Okay, so number one, Arabic phrase you say way too much.
Khalas.
Khalas. Oh, yes. Khalas is definitely. Most embarrassing thing your mom yelled at you in public for.
Oh, talking over her.
Okay.
I would hate that.
The Arabic auntie question you dread the most.
Oh my God, why did you get divorced?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Biggest red flag in an Arab guy.
Pride.
Okay. What is one quality that Mr. Khalas needs to have?
Emotional intelligence.
Definitely emotional intelligence. Yes, guys, you hearing this? Emotional intelligence, that is major.
Lead a strong, independent woman, you need to have emotional intelligence.
Absolutely. Especially high value Arab women, right? So one Arab stereotype that's actually true about you.
I'm a great cook.
Okay, that's good. Mensa for makluba.
Makluba for sure.
Okay. Shawarma or falafel?
Falafel.
Baklava or knafe? Or chnafe?
Chnafa.
Arab dish you still can't master?
My favorite dish is actually lahma bamia, and only my mom can make it.
Okay.
Only my mom can make it the way that I love it. Yeah.
All right. So Arabic coffee or tea?
Coffee. Arabic coffee for sure.
WhatsApp voice note or text message?
Text message. You don't want to hear my voice on a freaking.
All right. Depke or belly dancing?
Depka.
Yes. Actually, I want to learn how to depke. Do you know any depke groups? Like, I'm totally down to join because I want to like learn how to depke.
One of the good things I took from Palestine, like I actually learned how to do depka.
You guys took the masters of the depke. Kulthum or Ferouz?
Ferouz.
Okay. Yeah, I like Ferouz too. What is your favorite Arabic song?
I don't know the actual name of the song, but there was this song growing up where it'd be like, Inta habib ayuni nur ayuni, and then it keeps going. But if somebody knows the song, send it to me.
What's your favorite Arabic word just because it sounds nice?
Khara.
Khara, yes. Now, if we took all the stories that you've gone through in your life and put it into a book, what would the title of that book be?
The title of my book will be Divorcing Culture.
I love that. Divorcing Culture. Girl, I think we need to write that book because you have a fascinating story.
It's part of my goals for 2026.
Okay, and if you could only drink one qazoza for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
It'd have to be this flavor. What flavor is this?
Qazoza hamra.
Qazoza hamra. There you go.
That was the whole premise, right?
It's actually so good, and it reminds me of some Palestinian drinks.
See? Yes. My brother and I, we would go back to Syria. Even my sister, too, because she was much younger. But we went to Syria, and we're Halabiya. We're from Halab. So Halabiya, we're known for, like, all we do is talk about food. We just want to eat all day. We're foodies. And Bessa, let's go to the Saman and get a qazoza hamra. So we would go there, and I'm like, Ammo, atina qazoza hamra, hatta bil kees. And he would put it in a plastic bag with a straw, hand it to us, and we didn't have any money because we were kids. I'm like, yeah, put it on a daftar. My dad will come pay for it. Put it on the tab.
Oh my God, I think every store in Palestine has a tab.
Yeah, they write it on the wall or wherever they write. It's so funny.
And in our village, there's also like the whole tab. And I remember when I took my kids to Palestine, they would put the tab, and the guy had to like make sure he knew when we were leaving to America. So he could,
you see, so he gets money, subhanAllah. But you see how trusting they are that you can walk into the store. We're kids. We're getting this qazoza hamra.
Beauty. That's the beauty. And also just like thinking about raising children overseas, like the village does take care of itself.
Absolutely.
Take care of each other.
It's a community.
We don't have so much here that we need to build on.
Right. Well, listen, Lana, thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure speaking with you today. I enjoyed learning your story. Hopefully, inshallah, we'll have you back again.
Yes.
All right, everyone. We've come to the end of this podcast. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to comment if you want to ask any questions of Lana. Actually, if they want to follow you, where can they follow you?
So you can follow me at This Be Lana or Roots of Resilience.
Yes, This Be Lana or Roots of Resilience. I will link them below. And like I said, if you have any questions, let us know. And keep in mind, please make sure when you're watching this, subscribe, interact with the content because it's really, really important. Our goal is to raise money, obviously. We're gonna do so by getting 1 million subscribers and also making sure we monetize here on YouTube because we're gonna donate 20% of all earnings to to an organization that's going to then help Palestine. So make sure you guys are doing your part, and it's going to cost you nothing. Just all you have to subscribe, interact, like, share, and do all the things that the algorithm favors you to do. All right, until next time, bye. All right, thanks again. Bye. Yay, that was awesome.